All right, everybody, we are going to get started. I know we got low attendance so far, but we got to probably jump into things here, so we make sure we give Leah plenty of time. And so, welcome to day two. Good to see you. Good morning. And I hope you had a good day yesterday. We've got if you go into the tab, so the auditorium tab on the platform, and you look back at day one from yesterday, you can see that all of those recordings are now included there on the platform. And so if you missed 15 minutes here or there, if you missed one of the sessions, all of those are actually available today. So thanks to our folks at BFairs for posting those. Um, but a couple quick announcements before I pass things off to Leah. Number one, attestations. It's keep bringing it up. Just want to make sure everyone's aware. So during that last session of the day, I'm going to send out via DocuSign attestations to everybody. You'll receive a DocuSign version of that attestation form. You're going to sign it with a digital signature, and it'll come right back to me. And once I receive all of them from you, I'm going to pass it on to the Guardian board and make sure that they have that and that you get credit for your 8 general credits, your 2 merging issues credits, and then your 2 ethics credits. As far as the game, so remember we've got 5 prizes we're giving out. We're giving out an iPad. We're giving out free registration for the conference next year. We're giving out Apple AirBuds. We're giving out $250 off next year's conference, and we're also giving out a $50 gift card. So our top 5 point getters at this point, drum roll please. Tracy Raymond in first place. She's got 405 points. Again, a lot of those same people. I see you showing up here at 7 o'clock in the morning, making sure you're getting all your scavenger hunt stuff. Marlene Finch-Bridge with 400 points. Beth Stone with 400 points. Kristen with 395 points. And then Claudia Claire are both tied for 5th place with 395 points, and a lot of people right behind them. So, like I said, keep joining the sessions, keep giving feedback, keep interacting with our exhibitors, keep doing the other prompts like potentially joining the guardianship community forum that's linked on on the platform as well, and all of those will get you points to continue to potentially win an iPad by the end of the day. So with that in mind, so the Guardian Community Forum, so a lot of you have seen that link. Many of you are familiar with it. A good handful of you have interacted on it before. And so what is the Guardian Community Forum? Well, it's on our website, so guardian-institute.org. And on there we've essentially got a platform where you can interact with other guardians across the state. There's several categories. So there's client issues, business, medical, financial issues in each of those chat rooms. You can send out if you have some resources to share with someone, if you have a question, if you're stuck on something that's meant to be really what this conference tends to be a lot of, where there's lots of sometimes there's some griping about frustration about this thing here. Sometimes it's hey, what do you do in this situation? A lot of relying on one another to get information so that we can serve our clients and run our businesses effectively. And so that's meant to be a platform for that the other 11 months of the year. And so encourage you to join that. Encourage you to interact on there. Any social media message board is only as good as what we offer. So going on there, commenting on somebody's post. If you've got content to contribute, do that. But we hope that that's useful to you. Beyond that, we're going to just jump right into things, and I see a lot of people are starting to show up. We've got someone saying good morning. Good morning. It's a good day, and it's especially a good day when Leah Rathwell is sharing with us. And so let me give you a little intro into Leah. So Leah Rathwell has dedicated her career to supporting older adults, family caregivers, and vulnerable individuals. She earned her BA in psychology from DePaul University and her master's in social work from the University of Illinois at Chicago, specializing in gerontology, community, and administrative practices. Leah has been a certified professional guardian with Bridge Builders, a professional guardianship agency, since 2022. She currently manages the Guardian Institute's Representative Payee Program and monthly networking events, and is a member of the National Guardianship Association's 2025 inaugural class of leadership with the NGA. And I'm going to pass things off to you, Leah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Luke. And shout out to Luke, everybody, for throwing this whole conference together. He is on year 3 now, and he's doing a fantastic job. And we have been very busy and of minimal assistance this year in particular. So Luke has really stepped up, and I'm just want to make sure everybody gives him some appreciation because this would not happen without all his hard work. Uh, that being said, I have had my coffee, and if you've been to these conferences before, I am running out of game shows, folks. Um, I think this may be my last game show, but we'll see. This year I decided, there's kind of a theme I'm noticing in a lot of our sessions. Yesterday, there were case studies, and this will be no different, but we're gonna try to gamify it in a way, just so we're clear, this has nothing to do with the point system or the leaderboard, or winning the iPad or anything like that. This is strictly for, pride points. Instead of the dating game, I've come up with the vetting game. These are strategies for evaluating and choosing the right clientele for your guardianship business. I run into myself, I'm a new guardian. I have some more seasoned guardians that I always say help idiot proof me, but um, a lot of my part-time jobs and other background besides what Luke told you about, I was a barista and I worked in customer service, and it is very hard to take the customer service yes person out of the girl, even when you're in the guardianship world. And so when I'm meeting clients and having an initial consultation, or we're getting these listservs, email blasts, I am one of those, how can I make that work for you? And it's been a really good lesson to hold my proverbial horses and really step back and see the situation from afar, and really think about think before you say yes. So this is sort of a game to teach us some of those skills and teach us some of those considerations you might want to make. So how it'll work, we're gonna see some potential client profiles. Uh, I tried to make them look similar to how you might appear in an email blast that we might see for the Guardian listserv that comes out, Guardian conservators needed in X counties. Um, so the contestant will have the opportunity to ask questions, a few more details about the potential client situation. Um, and then much like you would the dating game, they'll have to decide whether or not they will accept the appointment, accept the case as guardian conservator, or we have a POA one in there as well. Um, and at that point, then I'm thinking we'll have the audience, the peanut gallery can weigh in. We'll see whether the group would have made the same choice, would have accepted the appointment, what they might ask. I will then reveal the outcome of how this potential case worked out and whether the match wound up being successful, or was it problematic, or something in between. So let's So I'm gonna ask for some volunteer contestants. I'm thinking because we have the group chat rooms set up for some geographical areas, we've got 5 rounds and we've got 5 geographical areas. So I was thinking we could ask for somebody from Central, Eastern, Western. I think we have Vancouver area and we have the Seattle, Tacoma metro area geographical regions. So I might ask for a volunteer from one of each of those regions to be our guinea pig guardian, seeing these potential clients. And I did mention for the purposes of the game, we'll assume that the potential clients are located within your service area or the counties in which you practice. Claire's asking, are we looking for seasoned professionals as volunteers or newbies? Claire, I'll take both because I think we can learn something from the fresh-faced folks. Kind of like dating, I think people approach it in different ways at different times in their careers. So I would like to hear from maybe some seasoned folks and some new folks, whoever's brave. So um for our first round, I'd like to start with the Central Washington folks. Is there anyone from Central Washington who will be brave and be our volunteer contestant? Anybody? Type into the chat if you're from Central Washington and you're willing to be brave and awake this morning. And anybody? Oh, Jason says he's Central Washington. Okay, Jason, you're the next contestant on the vetting game. So we'll see our first eligible client. Oh boy. Our first eligible client, number 1. We've got HR. HR is a 64-year-old male. He's residing in a DDA supported living apartment, which he shares with a housemate. He's diagnosed with developmental delay, aortic valve sclerosis, hypertension, bradycardia, bipolar disorder, and seizure disorder. No family members or friends are willing to serve, and he's now estranged from his wife, who also receives decision-making support from her immediate family. He has no known assets and receives $723 a month in SSI. He needs a guardian to assist with navigating benefits and services, payee services, and medical and financial decision making. Ooh, okay. So this is HR. So I'll let Jason take another quick glance at some of the details for this client. Okay, so Jason, let's say this case is presented to you. What questions would you ask as the potential guardian? Do you have any questions for our eligible candidate you might want to ask? Ah, Jason's first question is the source of guardian fee payment. OPG. OPG indeed, Jason. I I agree. Uh SSI/SSA. He gets SSI. Just SSI. Okay, good questions. Do you have any other questions about services or any? I guess there's no assets to ask about. Any other Ah, he doesn't think DSHS will pay from SSI. Okay, so HR seems like a real nice guy, but would you accept this case, Jason? No. No. Okay. Um, okay, Jason's saying no. I'm gonna open it up to the peanut gallery and someone says this breaks my heart. These clients need guardians. Okay, what does everybody else think? Would you take this case? Where does he live? In a supported living home. In once you accept DDA, it's a lifetime appointment. Koya says no, Office of Public Guardian case, OPG. People are saying no. Sounds like supported living and he would be good support, would pass on the case. Why won't his family accept guardianship? I want to say that he's fairly elderly. I think his parents have passed away and he has one brother that's in Arizona. No, too complex for me as a newbie. It depends on whether he pays rent, utilities, or whether he pays participation. If he pays participation, yes. Valerie wants to know, does he get out into the community? Does he have a history of explosive behavior or does he have a police record? Good questions. He and his wife are estranged and there was a police report. Definitely an OPG case, Wendy's saying. Beth is asking, has he been accepted to OPG? Tracy is saying, maybe it's a supportive decision-making situation. Someone said, sounds good. Valerie says, sounds good for me. I'd potentially accept. Tamiko's asking, why is he estranged from his wife? Byron's asking, any information on behavior? Supported living doesn't get participation. Peggy, yes, these are all fantastic observations slash things that I would want to know. Some of these things I haven't even thought of. So let's find out how did this work out? Somebody says guardian should take pro bono. The outcome, because HR is living in a supported living environment and is receiving services through DDA, there's no participation rate set through Medicaid to request a guardian fee allowance or a RAR from DHHS. A lot of you mentioned that. He's still legally married and you'll need to assist him with his divorce process in order to increase his SSI amount. His wife has moved out of the area and she and her family are difficult to reach. HR becomes a pro bono client and the guardian serves without pay. And I see there's fire in the chat rooms. People are saying they do not. Right. Suzanne is saying someone in supported living does not pay room and board or participation. They pay rent to the home where they live. So they do not qualify for DSHS to pay guardian fees. No more pro bono. Pro bono clients live forever. OPG pays us. Jay Becker. Yeah. So we wouldn't need to be payee. Supported living staff handle appointments and transportation, and OPG pays us. I would say only if you had an OPG contract and he was approved through OPG would you be able to get paid, right? I would say this is, I think, you know, oh, Jamie's saying 5 to 6 people in supported living programs in their training homes. What's a training home, Jamie? Is it like a transitional housing or transitional living kind of situation? I've never heard of participation through supported living. But Anyway, yeah, so it sounds like while this guy someone says, these clients really need these services, but folks are saying this could be maybe a supported decision making with a payee in place or supported living situation. Um, I'd say you could do it through OPG if you have an OPG contract to get paid that way. All right. Well, Jason, you set the bar very high. You guessed, I would say accurately, um, at least for what would be right for you. It sounds like most folks would either not take the case or only take it if OPG were involved. That right. Okay. So this is potential client number two. I'm going to pick on somebody from the Vancouver area. Does anybody want to be our next eligible guardian's conservator? Where's my Vancouver people at? Oh, okay. Thanks, Jamie. Communitas. Do I have any brave Vancouver folks that want to be my next contestant victim? Vancouver, I know you're out there. Anybody? Tracy says she's an Olympia. Well, if you want Tracy, you can represent. Unless somebody else jumps in. We'll have Tracy for Olympia via Vancouver. Okay, Tracy, you're going to be my next potential guardian. So we've got potential client number two. CJ is a 76-year-old female residing in an assisted living facility, prior to which she was living in her own home. She's in need of DPOA services, as her current POA, a family friend, is no longer able to serve due to their own family members' emergent care needs. CJ has extended family involved, but all live overseas and visit 1 to 2 times per year. The care facility reports she is ambulatory and receives assistance with IEDLs, housekeeping, meals, medication management, and transportation, but she is mostly independent with her ADLs. She receives an undisclosed amount in Social Security benefits, but she currently pays privately for her care from a retirement account. She still owns a home on Bainbridge Island, appraised at $1.3 million. And according to the current POA, the entire family is, quote, extremely wealthy. So this is a POA case. Let's keep in mind, Tracy, CJ's looking for you to be her POA. What questions do you have, or what would you want to know more about? Ah, does she have the capacity to change her power of attorney? That's a great question, and one an attorney would probably have to make. I would say that's a good question, not for us to decide, but what are the let's just say she does have capacity and an attorney said, if she doesn't, does the current POA document have the ability for a guardianship conservatorship appointment? Good question. Good question. Maybe you ask to see the current POA and see what it looks like. Okay. Let's say she does have capacity to change POA just for would have to meet her and discuss with her how she feels about a change in POA and discuss costs with her. Excellent. Yes. Um, Anything else you might want to know about? Oh, Brenda's saying plan for the house. What is the plan for the house? Are we selling the house? What's going on with this big house in Bainbridge Island? Chick saying, "What's her income and will she need to sell her home? If not, what's the house doing?" Tracy saying, okay, Tracy's saying, "From the information given, I'd take her. Cons to a POA if the family changes their mind and wants changes after the appointment." Ah, Claire saying, "Why isn't this extremely wealthy family willing to be POA?" Elizabeth wants to know, is there anyone living in the house? What is the current POA doing for her? How involved are the other family members? Tracy says the house wouldn't be a huge issue if she has funds to pay for her care. Wouldn't start with selling the home. That makes families and others nervous. Okay. Maybe don't go there. Yeah. Beth's asking, is she cooperative with the current POA? Debbie's asking, maintenance on the house. Are the taxes paid? Are there issues? Okay. These are fantastic questions. Tamiko's laughing. Uh, Elizabeth is saying, I'd request to see the most current tax return to figure out what her finances look like. Interesting. Okay. These are all really fantastic questions, ideas. So let's Tracy said she would take it based on the information. Okay, let's see how that went. Okay. CJ has some intense paranoia and mental health issues that weren't initially disclosed until after the DPOA documents are signed. She's also had full access to her bank cards and has been wildly spending the rapidly dwindling retirement account. The home on Bainbridge Island has a reverse mortgage on it, has another quote, family friend renting it at $600 a month on a 2-year lease. The bottom floor is hoarded full of her many belongings, and it is in dire need of maintenance and repairs. This is the story of my life, Tracy. Oh no. Okay. And it keeps going. Oh, she accuses you of stealing her money, makes multiple APS reports, which you have to respond to. She refuses to sell her home. And when you apply as Social Security rep payee, she appeals, and SSA won't recognize your power of attorney. All of her income goes toward her assisted living costs. She only has a few months left to pay privately, and the facility does not accept Medicaid. When you attempt to reach her supposedly wealthy overseas family regarding payment, they mysteriously vanish. Everyone's, oh, I touched some nerves, it sounds like. Okay. Elizabeth says, I'd ask Tamiko to help. All too familiar. I'd try to get out of the case. Had a client just like this. They vanished and no longer spoke English. Big money equals big problems. I think someone said that. Yes. How can you be appointed POA if she doesn't sign off on that? Doesn't the client have to agree with the appointment? Um, in this case, she does. After you have a meeting, she's wanting the POA. Debbie says, sounds like guardianship. These are the best cases. Let the fun begin. Well, we actually had a client similar to this. I'm not saying we base this entirely on her, but this was one I got tripped up on. I went, oh, yeah, this would be a great one. She's got money and there's a home we could. And Mindy, my wise boss, said, I don't know about this one. This one's Wendy says, I'm pretty sure I had this client. Okay. Uh, Jason was yelling, "It's a trap! It's a trap." Yes. Um, so I would have probably fallen for this one. I would have said, "Oh, she's such a sweet lady, and the family's, um, there's a lot of things just involved with it being a POA versus a guardianship, and a lot of you brought that up. A lot of you mentioned, maybe this isn't a POA case. Maybe she doesn't have capacity, or maybe we shouldn't have it be something where she's able to change it. Um, One thing we also checked into is, does our liability even cover property management? We aren't in the position to be managing a renter in a property, as guardian or as POA. That puts you into some serious liability issues. What if something happens at the house and the renter sues you because the ceiling caves in or something? Okay, so I'm seeing some comments in the chat. I think we've all had this client. Always something unknown, ever-changing issues. We'd have to hire a property management company. Drew, make sure there's homeowners insurance. Yes. Yep. Just because there's a house doesn't mean a house does not make a fully insured home. Let's put it that way. Or a non-drowning in a reverse mortgage or tax liability. Um, just because there's a structure there does not equal necessarily assets or a huge boon financially. So, and in this case, sometimes it's just pure behavior, just the APS cases and having to defend yourself and maybe, damaging to your reputation, or, anyway, vacant home insurance is much more difficult to get than it was in the past. Ah, Drew's got a hookup for homeowners insurance, it sounds like. So maybe find her in the chat rooms and she can let you in on her homeowner insurance person. Um, Insurance on a vacant home is very expensive. Yeah, so there's a lot of things when there's a home involved. There's a lot of things when it's power of attorney, how, like Social Security doesn't necessarily recognize. Can you lease out your home under a reverse mortgage and not live there? I don't know. I added that in just as a twist, so that may not be a possible thing you can do with a reverse mortgage, but um, got it. Okay. Or so okay, got it. Required to live in the home. Okay. And right. And or if there's a home, that doesn't mean it's not packed full of stuff that's gonna have to get cleaned out either. Okay. All right. The renter's illegal? Yeah, maybe. There's all kinds of stuff, and then how do you get them out? You can't, or you wait 2 years while they're on the lease. What do you do? Yeah. Okay, where's my Eastern Washington folks at? Do we have anybody who wants to vet our 3rd client? Any Eastern Washington folks who are willing to throw down? Valerie's in Eastern Washington, but she's newish. That's okay. These are low stakes cases because 'cause they're not real, so this will be good to have a newish person, Valerie, so welcome aboard. Let's go, Valerie. Everybody cheer on. There we go. Alright, we've got potential client number 3. AM is a 45-year-old male living in an unsubsidized apartment in the community. He's diagnosed with major neurocognitive disorder and behavioral disturbance, unsteady gait, fall risk, seizure disorder, insomnia, anxiety, and depression. He is in need of a guardian conservator to assist with medication management and help to arrange for services and community resources. AM has some family members who are peripherally involved but have declined to serve as guardian. He was in the process of a divorce prior to his incapacitation and will need assistance with finalizing it. He has a substantial insurance settlement payment pending from the accident which caused the TBI. And he currently receives $1,911 in SSDI monthly, but he has no other known assets. Okay. So, Valerie, I'll let you take a quick look at that. All right. What questions would you ask as a potential guardian? What are the pros and cons? Valerie's already weighing in. She says, I will never, never, never take a client in his or her own home. Sorry to shut down the fun so quickly, but really never. I still have nightmares. Connie wants to know, does he live on the bottom floor? Janelle seconds that. Chick wants to know, does he live alone? Yes. Yes. Okay. Valerie's already said, no way, Jose. Not doing it. The midnight calls. Hard no. I'm still shaking. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? People are pretty adamant that who petitioned the guardianship? Does he have caregivers already set up providing him services? Good question, Katrina. Okay. Is he receiving home health? What will be the outcome of the property settlement from the divorce? Good questions. I don't take clients who live in their own homes. I don't think he'll get anything from the divorce. They were already separated, living separately. So I think that he needs to be moved to a facility. If he were to be placed somewhere, they consider, okay, okay. Okay, so if he were placed somewhere, Valerie's maybe potentially interested. Okay. And this is a younger gentleman, so you have to think about where you're at. Is there a placement for him maybe? Who's currently paying the bills? Good questions. Yep. Who's doing that now? How's it getting done? Okay, is he receiving home health? Oh, I'm sorry. I knew I couldn't stop myself from scrolling. Okay, sorry everybody. I had one homeless in the snow with a walker. The legal fees would be high, guardianship, conservatorship, and a divorce. Ah, the divorce too. Yep. Does the wife have any claim to the insurance payout? Good question from Debbie. Okay. Is he currently on services? Okay. All right. So sounds like Valerie says no. Most people say no. I'm too old, says Coy. Okay. He will likely outlive me. He's much younger than me. That's a consideration. Interesting. That is a good point. Age, are we wanting to take on folks who have a long life expectancy beyond how long we're willing to be guardian? Okay. Okay. With the divorce not final, I think his wife might be entitled. Okay. All right. I accidentally may have spoiled this with my scrolling. Hopefully not, but okay. This insurance settlement comes as a monthly annuity going into a special needs trust. This combined with his SSDI income is just enough income to financially disqualify him for Medicaid, housing assistance, or EBT. He's assessed as too high functioning to qualify for Medicaid caregiver services, so he pays out of pocket for a once weekly caregiver to help with laundry, grocery shopping, etc. The remainder of his income goes toward rent, utilities, and groceries. There are no funds left to pay guardian fees unless you can reduce his housing costs. P.S. He's a smoker and is very particular about where he lives. And yes, he would need to live on the first floor, so that narrows down our options too, huh? Okay. Due to his TBI, he has some anger and aggressive behaviors and has managed to get himself trespassed from the local grocery store. He also ran off the one caregiver who'd still been willing to work with him. He calls multiple times per week about his medications. His mother, who lives several hours away, also calls frequently to get clarification on what he is reporting to her and takes up a substantial amount of your time. You've got to manage his medications and assist with grocery shopping, transportation to medical appointments, and laundry as your outstanding fees grow higher. Okay, everyone. Nope. Next, laughing out loud. It's a trap. Yeah. Maybe that's the new title. It's a trap. This would need to be an OPG case. Ah, we've got the, insurance. Elizabeth says, "I'd ask Tomiko to take over." Tomiko's saving everybody out here. Okay, not sustainable in the home, would need to move out, too complicated. But you can't force him to move, right? Do his laundry? What? It's a trap. He needs a wife, not a guardian. Oh gosh. Yes. Well, I think he ran the wife off. So the wife isn't in the picture. So yep, this one is a dud. And I think Valerie called it saying anyone living in the community in their own apartment or in their own home is a lot more coordination and work in general just because of medications, and this guy won't even, keep caregivers because laundry. I'm cackling. I have someone who as someone calls me every day and is very meaty. Yes. He's he's become one of our beloved uh clients in his own special way. We all kind of have his number plugged into our phone, and we know he'll call 10 minutes before one of us is supposed to be there, and he'll call about 10 minutes after one of us leaves after visiting. So these are some of those war stories, but everyone sounds like this is not unfamiliar territory. So okay, let's move on to, do we have somebody from the Seattle area? Medicaid waiver if all his income would go to care. I had a client with income of 6,000, but Medicaid took him. Possibly, that's a good suggestion. Okay, do we have somebody from the Seattle area who's willing to be our next contestant on the vetting extravaganza? Seattle, Tacoma folks, anybody out there? Ah, he doesn't admit Tacoma-ish, Beth says. Okay, Beth, Tacoma-ish counts. Your metro area. We'll go for it. Thanks, Beth. So potential client number 4, we have RW is a 91-year-old male residing in a skilled nursing facility. He's diagnosed with encephalopathy and dysphagia following cerebral infarction, and he suffers from memory dysfunction, severe mobility limitations, and communication deficits. His son lives abroad. His elderly sister lives out of state, and they are unable to serve. Okay. His monthly income consists of 3 annuities from TIAA CREF and OPM totaling 282707 and Social Security of $1,518. There's also a checking account with a balance of approximately $16,000. He has a property on several acres, but several years ago, he allegedly transferred the property via statutory warranty deed to be held in trust. An unfamiliar person is trustee, and the location of the original trust document is unknown, though RW has continued making auto payments on the mortgage. He needs a guardian conservator to help with medical and financial decision making. Okay, Beth says a sniff sounds good. Yeah. I'll let Beth take another look real quick at the numbers here. And Beth, what questions would you ask? What would you want to know more about? What pros and cons are you seeing to this case? She's assuming he doesn't have the kind of finances to private pay for long. Okay. Oh, Elizabeth's saying she'd request to become trustee of the trust before taking the case. I don't know if anyone can locate that original trust. Ah, Corinne says, is he on or does he need hospice? We have had some older folks pass away pretty quick. Tedra would be needed to change trustee. She'd be delving into that and find out the qualifications to be qualified for Medicaid. Um, Need to find out more about the trust. That could be a problem, would be Medicaid eventually. Has a Medicaid application been started? Good. All these questions about Medicaid eligibility. He's in a SNF, so hopefully they take Medicaid. Um, okay, any other potential? We still have a house too. Need to have a good team, attorney, realtor. Yep. It'll probably take a year, Elizabeth Skilpin says. Beth says she'd have her attorney vet this before she said yes. All right. How much is he paying the SNF? Depending on the type of trust, he might not be eligible for Medicaid until it's exhausted. Good observation, good questions. I love this. Okay, but yeah, Beth says, let me have my attorney take a look, but she's considering it. Beth says she always feels these types of cases are for an agency. She's a single guardian. What what about that? Just the financial piece of it, Beth, or what piece of it makes you hesitant? Just the amount of work or something, or the amount of digging? Corinne. More manpower makes less work for each person. All the pieces and parts, lots of clients, can't take away from them. Janelle says OPM takes a bit to get funds. They sure do. They sure do. Okay. All right. These are all a lot of great considerations. Um, Including, right, what kind of agency do I have? Am I just by myself? Or who's dealing with this? OPM's a nightmare. Yep, agreed. Okay, so let's see. The home turns out to have squatters, and it appears several trees have fallen and damaged the roof and the outbuildings. There's significant water damage. Any personal items or paperwork are destroyed. The proceeds are minimal. And the sale process takes so long, you have to get him onto Medicaid to pay for his care. In the process of marshaling his finances, you uncovered that the premiums for a life insurance policy for his wife had been on auto pay from his account, and no one had notified them of her death. So he receives a substantial sum. There were also overpayments of insurance premiums to OPM, and back pay is due to him. Okay. So the house takes a while. It's a big mess, no proceeds. But in the meantime, it looks like he is getting some life insurance money back from his wife's policy. He's getting some insurance premium overpayments back. Oh no. Okay. But he's a very gentle, he's a sweet-natured guy. He's got few family issues, no behavior issues, gets stable care. Um, because he gets all these back payments, he becomes ineligible for Medicaid and he private pays the care facility till he can spend down again. And because your attorney wrote specific language into the initial order appointing the guardianship, you are able to bill him at your private hourly rates versus just Medicaid rates for the remainder of his life. So it kind of worked out. It works out okay. Yeah, the house and stuff probably messy, but turns out down the line he ends up getting some funds and he can private pay you when you thought maybe you'd only be spending him down to Medicaid. Um, but it's a mixed bag, right? With with great reward comes great house clean out responsibilities. So, but he turns out, at least behavioral wise, this guy is a nice client. He doesn't give you a hard time other than being on the phone with OPM for hours of your life you can't get back. Um, Beth is saying, sounds so familiar. Ask the court to abandon the house. Tracy says, if there are no proceeds with the sale of the home, I would petition the court to let the asset go and not deal with it. Been there, done that, says Sherry. First year or two would be a complicated mess, but maybe it would settle down. And that's a good point, Jessica. You know, this is a man in his 90s. He happened to live for a few more years than possibly folks expected. But somebody I think asked, is this person on hospice? Because had he died midway through the home sale, that could have turned into a very messy situation. And had he died before these overpayments and life insurance things been discovered, it'd be questionable as to whether you could get paid too. So, there's always a risk involved in these cases. Young people live forever. Elderly people die right in the middle of something you're trying to do to make it less complicated and Murphy's Law. So, I have never heard of a court order telling Medicaid to pay your private rate and it was done. Um, Medicaid won't pay it, but there's language that you can have I believe your attorney can put into the initial order regarding fee structuring, and I think there's something they can put in, about the whack where it's basically a just in case this person comes into some money or, comes into some substantial amount of money, you aren't locked in with Medicaid rates. I would have to ask our attorney about that, but I know we have some sort of safeguard in our language that we have them put in there. Drew says, I have someone passed. They can. My attorney does that, but you also need to prove that you're doing the work to make the private pay fee. Yes, correct. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So this was a kind of a mixed bag. We got we got out of it. Okay, and let's move to our final potential client. We've got JD, and I haven't picked anyone from Western Washington in particular. Now Beth says, "Now I wish I would have kept him." Yeah, well, hindsight's 2020, Beth. Uh, okay, does anybody in Western Washington want to volunteer for our last round of the vetting game? I give stuff away all the time. Thank you, Sherry. Wording that allows for the guardian to pay fees as approved fee schedule in case the client is over-resourced. Yes. Um, do I have one last volunteer for our last potential client? Western Washington folks, anybody? Ooh, folks are reading this and nobody's volunteered for this one. I scared them all. Oh no, Mindy. Sherry will try. Thank you, Sherry. Okay. Mindy, I did scare everybody. It's a no from the get-go. Okay. All right. Claire says no way, but Sherry's gonna be brave. Okay. JD is a 39-year-old male residing in his own apartment in the community. He's diagnosed with PTSD, combat stress reaction, schizotypal personality disorder, atypical psychosis, and paranoia. He has a limited guardianship VA fiduciary for 4+ years in Oregon, but has permanently relocated to Washington. And a transfer is needed to provide assistance with monitoring medications, paying bills, and continuing medical and mental health appointments. Okay. Tracy says, I think this is one of my VA fiduciary clients. Jason is saying VA can be very hard. How many cases? 5 is the limit. Jason thinks 5 VA cases. Folks don't do VA. Okay. Okay. There is no limit with VA fiduciary clients, according to Tracy. Okay. Lots of people saying they don't do VA as a rule. VA is extraordinarily challenging. Okay. Okay. Too difficult on apartment. Um, Combat stress is no joke, but he lives on his own. The paperwork sucks. I need help with VA. Why did he move and how did it go with the Oregon Guardian? Good question. Yeah. Why did he move? Okay. How did it go with that Oregon Guardian? Well, they're looking to transfer him. Maybe is it because he's difficult? Does he own guns? Oh, interesting. Yeah. Those are questions. He moved to be okay, Mindy says he moved close to be closer to extended family. That's why he wound up in Washington. Sharon says, what about the possibility of a fiduciary from the VA and a separate guardianship? Beth wants to know, has he been hospitalized? VA is challenging but doable. Definitely get background from the Oregon Guardian. VA is hard to get started, just like OPM. Why doesn't family want to be guardian? Good questions. Yep. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell us. JD receives 1100. This might change things. Hold on. JD receives 1150 a month in SSDI. He was honorably discharged and receives $3,700 a month in VA benefits. He has approximately $84,000 in blocked guardianship accounts and 38,000 in unblocked accounts and a vehicle valued at $5,500. Okay, so that may change, baby folks. Maybe not. Some folks say VA, no way. too much. What does he need from mental health counseling? What supports are already in place for his mental health? Amber wants to know. Tracy says, I would take him on, get him a VA caseworker and multiple VA support benefits. Jamie says, we have a new client with a VA fiduciary in another state who will not honor the court orders related to our client's divorce or recognize our guardianship because they don't have to, I am told. Oh. Does that mean he's driving also? Yes, he's driving. This is a limited guardianship. Is there a girl involved in his move? Not that we're aware of. Sometimes there's not enough money to pay for my mental health, says Sharon. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's sparking some good conversations about VA fiduciary. So, okay, Sherry, you are our initial contestant. Do you think you would take this case or would you walk quickly away and say no thank you? What do you think, Sherry? We had the oh, okay, Sherry says she'd probably do it. Okay. All right, let's find out. Oh, we asked all those questions. Pros and cons. Okay, so JD is actually quite independent when it comes to managing his healthcare appointments and his treatment decisions, and the guardianship is limited. He continues sessions with a VA mental health counselor weekly. He's really glad to be back in Washington and has multiple family members in the area. Some investigation finds he has additional back pay from his VA benefits, and you're able to support him in purchasing his own home and a new reliable truck. He's thrilled to feel safe and secure in a permanent housing situation with you providing assistance in maintaining the home and vehicle. JD built a solid rapport with you as guardian, and his funds support paying private rates plus VA fiduciary fees. So in this case, it sounds fairly intimidating at first, but in this particular situation, it actually works out. He's got enough funds to support living in his own home, um, maintains his mental health treatments. Okay, so I've got lots of comments in the chat. I see why no conservatorship? It would be limited for person in full conservatorship. Does he have a job? I don't believe he is allowed to have a job and collect his um VA funds, at least his full. So he's not working, no. Chick says he was a VA fiduciary but was not paid. You can't get both guardian and VA fiduciary fees. Valerie says, I have a lot of respect for vets, but don't know how to help this person. Okay, no need for a conservatorship. Become SSA and VA payee. Saves the client a ton of money. Ah, okay. All right. So I used our whole hour, but basically I'm really impressed with everybody jumping in on the chats. But all I want to say is a lot of these things we already took into consideration, and some of you guys are the best resource you could possibly have. So, all right, folks. Well,
Hey,
we didn't get to all these, but we brought up most of the main points in here. So I'm really impressed. I'm going to let everybody get going and have a great rest of the day and morning.
thank you so much, Leah. Really, really appreciate that. And so make sure you go back over to the auditorium and leave Leah some feedback. And let her know what you thought of the seminar. We're gonna take a break and then go into medical or mental health, getting help for dual diagnosis complex clients. And that'll start here at 9:15. So I'll see you in a few minutes.